Odin. Odin is the Allfather, the CEO of the Norse pantheon. He's in charge of wisdom, war, poetry, death, basically every LinkedIn skill endorsement you could ask for. But unlike most CEOs, Odin actually does the field work. Like hanging himself from the world tree for 9 days just to learn magic runes. Yes, that's the Norse version of self-improvement. He's also a one-eyed god because he traded an eye for a sip of wisdom from Mimir's well, which, in modern times, is like giving up your left AirPod for a TED Talk that actually teaches you something. Odin's hobbies include shapeshifting, manipulating mortals, and recruiting fallen warriors into Valhalla for the big end-of-the-world fight, Ragnarok. Think of him as running the most exclusive CrossFit gym, but for dead Vikings. He's married to Frigg, but spends a suspicious amount of time wandering Midgard in disguise. This is partly for espionage, and partly because Odin has main character energy and can't just stay home. If you're wondering whether he's a good guy or a bad guy, the answer is yes. Odin plays both sides, mostly because it's more fun that way. Thor. Thor is the Norse god of thunder, strength, and hitting things until they stop being a problem. And Chris Hemsworth is the Disney Prince adaptation of this guy. We're not kidding. Basically, he's the kind of guy who brings a hammer to a lightning fight and still wins. His hammer, Mjolnir, isn't just any tool for nailing thrifted Van Gogh knockoffs to the wall after giving up on your security deposit. It's a divine, short-handled powerhouse forged by dwarves. And if you've watched The Hobbit, you know those bros are no joke. It's so powerful that it can crush mountains and level seas. Even better than Hiccup's dad, believe it or not. And also, it comes back like a boomerang. Essentially a sledgehammer crossed with a homing pigeon. Thor is the son of Odin and the earth goddess Yoro, and that, guys, basically makes him half god, half planet. And 100% done with giants. Seriously, he's always fighting them. His entire calendar is just smash giants and drink ale. Unlike Odin's complicated chess master personality, Thor's approach to problems is direct. If Odin is the schemer, Thor is the human fist emoji. Pretty much, he's not big on riddles or subtlety, so his solutions usually involve something getting broken. Loki. Loki is the god of mischief and chaos, sort of like the personification of, this seemed like a good idea at the time. Technically, he's a giant by birth. Nobody really truly knows how he ended up in Odin's inner circle. Just think of him as that one friend who's definitely trouble but too entertaining to kick out of the group chat, which they named. He's a shapeshifter, meaning he's been everything from a horse to an old woman to a literal salmon. This isn't just party trick stuff. He once turned into a mare, got pregnant, and gave birth to an 8-legged horse. Norse mythology doesn't judge. We do, though. Hopefully, Tom Hiddleston won't mind. Do the British mind anything, though? Besides their manners and vinegared chips, that is. Anyway, back to the we mean Loki. His pranks range from mildly annoying to accidentally caused the apocalypse, which is classic younger sibling behavior. He's responsible for giving the gods their best treasures, through trickery. Oh, and also for the death of Odin's son, Baldur, through trickery, you guessed it. When the other gods finally get tired of his chaos, they tie him up with his own son's entrails. Yes, really, until Ragnarok. Then he breaks free, leads the giants, and helps destroy basically everything. If this dude actually looks like Tom Hiddleston, then Loki is the IRL fan-favorite anti-hero who keeps making you say, okay, but this time he's gone too far. Never mind, just look at that smirk that belies his unloved by his father issues. Freya. Freya is the goddess of love, beauty, fertility, war, and magic, which is quite the resume. She might be able to get into Harvard with that. What do you say? She's basically the Norse pantheon's HR department and Black Ops unit mixed into one really awesome goddess. She rides a chariot pulled by 2 giant cats, because horses are too mainstream, we guess. And she wears the Brisingamen necklace, a bling so legendary she once traded, a lot, with 4 dwarves to get it. No judgment because it was that good of a necklace. Freya is also associated with satyr, a form of magic Odin himself had to learn from her. Kind of like Aspasia, Socrates' teacher. As if she wasn't OP enough already, she gets the first pick of warriors slain in battle, taking half to her hall, Folkvanger, while Odin gets the other half for Valhalla. It's like they share custody of the dead. In Ragnarok, she fights alongside the gods, but honestly, you get the sense she's the one who could have negotiated a ceasefire if anyone had bothered to ask. Which they didn't. They never do. Frigg. No, we're not trying to say a kid-friendly swear from the deepest, darkest, cringiest, most haunted trenches of the internet. The same box of worms where rawr XD writhes and dwells. Frigg, the goddess, is actually Odin's wife, and the queen of Asgard. Basically, the Norse First Lady, except she actually has magical powers and foresight. She's the goddess of marriage, motherhood, and domestic order, which in the Norse world means keeping the mead flowing and the gods from killing each other. She's famous for trying to prevent her son Baldur's death, which sucks because she failed. This is not a spoiler because we literally just told you that 2 seconds ago. In any case, she deserves the participation award. She made every object in the universe swear not to harm him, except mistletoe, because apparently she thought it was too harmless. Cue Loki showing up with a mistletoe spear. Big mistake. Huge. Frigg's not just a passive figure, though. She's a master of diplomacy and subtle influence, which is pretty much the Asgardian version of political strategy. Think Machiavelli, but with better style. Her hall, Fensalir, is said to be a place of peace and domestic bliss, though with Odin's wandering habits, she probably enjoys the quiet. Maybe some wine. Heimdall. Heimdall is the Norse god of vigilance, guardian of the Bifrost Bridge, and the Pantheon's official night watchman. His whole deal is seeing and hearing everything. And we mean everything. He can hear grass growing and wool on sheep, which sounds impressive until you realize it's basically a cosmic curse for overhearing awkward conversations. Kind of like neurodivergence. Maybe Heimdall was on the spectrum. We'll never know. But we'll headcanon it. He's also the whitest of the gods, literally due to his radiance. No, he doesn't have great genes like Sydney Sweeney, come on. Anyway, his weapon is Gjallarhorn, a horn so loud it will announce Ragnarok to the entire universe. And Heimdall is famously destined to kill Loki during Ragnarok. But, well, they kill each other. Norse myth loves a good mutual destruction ending, apparently. He's also somehow born of 9 mothers. Sure, that sounds impossible. But it is exactly the kind of thing Norse myths throw at you without explanation. You heard it, and it doesn't matter if you believe it, because Heimdall is the guy who notices everything and still ends up unaliving in the final battle. Go figure. Figure? Tyr. Tyr is the god of war and law. Yes, both. Which means he's the one who starts fights and writes the rules about them. He's less famous than Thor or Odin, but in older traditions he was actually considered the top god before Odin won the elections. His most famous moment is when the gods decided to bind the giant wolf Fenrir, who was getting a bit too murdery for their tastes. Which probably was a lot, considering their appetite for it. To convince Fenrir to cooperate, Tyr placed his hand in the wolf's mouth as a show of trust, which was useless because later they betrayed Fenrir and he bit Tyr's hand clean off. Tyr didn't scream or complain. Apparently, losing a limb was just a Tuesday in Asgard, and How to Train Your Dragon. In Ragnarok, Tyr fights the hellhound Garmr, indeed, a one-handed man versus a giant wolf. And yes, they both also die. Because in Norse mythology, dying with style is more important than surviving. Hel, not Hell, is the goddess of the underworld, ruler of a realm also called Hell, where most people end up if they die of something boring like old age or illness. See? We told you, not Hell. Basically, if Valhalla is the VIP club, Hell's realm is the quiet cafe where everyone else hangs out. She's the daughter of Loki, and, well, of course she is. and a giantess, which makes her half god, half giant, and visually unusual. She's described as a half-beautiful woman, half-decaying corpse, so you're absolutely correct if you've concluded that was probably the OG hardcore gothic aesthetic. She's one of the few deities who survives Ragnarok, probably because she's running the only place left to go.